Hey guys, Sarah here, and finally got some snow. Although I think it's supposed to be 50 here on Thursday, so it's not gonna last. But it's a sad day here at C&B. We had a chicken pass away on us. Noodle, the gold and white one, passed away last Wednesday night, and it was kind of sudden. And we're not exactly 100% sure why she passed away. So a week ago Sunday night, my daughter alerted us that Noodle was kind of sitting funny, like kind of hunched over. I had noticed the past few days that she looked what I call footballed out. When chickens get cold, they kind of turn into a football. Their feathers puff out, and they kind of sit there and they shiver, when they're cold. And we had a chilly Thanksgiving, so I just assumed she was cold. But it started to warm up, and she was still acting and sitting in that really weird stance. And then Sunday night, she would not go into the coop with the other chickens. So we went out in the dark, and she was actually underneath my red coop is a dust bath area. She was actually sleeping under there. So we fished her out, and I looked her over, and everything seemed fine. She started to eat and drink like a horse, and then went back in her coop and went to sleep. All right, don't know what happened. And then Monday afternoon, my husband noticed that she was acting really lethargic and just kind of standing there and acting funny. So he took her inside, and he actually gave her an Epsom salt bath, which is something you can do with chickens when they're egg bound, when they have a prolapsed vent. There's a lot of therapeutic abilities with Epsom salts and things like that, and it works with chickens too. So he got his gloves on, and he gave her a nice warm bath, and we have a little small chicken kennel in our garage. And then we set that up, and then our garage is heated to like 50 degrees in the winter if we want to, and turn the heat on, and she slept in the garage overnight. Tuesday came, and she was alert in the morning, although she still looked a little bit funny. We started putting some apple cider vinegar in their water, because now we're kind of concerned this is sauerkraut, right? Her chicken's crop is usually right about here. It's part of their esophagus. And sauerkraut is a yeast or fungal infection that is very common in chickens that can kill them, but can be remedied sometimes with things around the house like apple cider vinegar. So if you put 1 tablespoon per gallon into their water, that's a safe amount, and that should hopefully have some medicinal effects to that. Unfortunately, it didn't do anything. We let her sleep in the garage again on Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday, we brought her back outside during the day, and when we got home, she was acting really, really lethargic. And here's some video footage. I'm going to warn you, it's a little bit sad. We started treating Noodle with some kefir milk to see if we could try to kick this suspected fungal infection. And as you can see, she's just really tired and lethargic. We ended up putting her back in her chicken kennel, and came out a few hours later, and she had passed away. So the kids are pretty sad. Obviously, Noodle was a beautiful, healthy girl, but had a tough last few months. During the summer, she kind of partially fractured her beak, and she had some cross beak, although she was able to eat and drink. So we suspect that she passed away from sauerkraut or an impacted crop. When I felt her crop, it did not feel squishy, and that is one of the symptoms of sauerkraut. The other symptom of sauerkraut is reduced appetite, and she was eating like a horse just up until last minute. She did smell pretty awful, though, and that's another symptom of sauerkraut. That's probably why she wasn't sleeping in the coop. It's because the other chickens didn't want her in there. So now we are down to 2 chickens. We got Parm, and you can kind of see Popeye's peeking her head out here. What causes sauerkraut? We don't know exactly what happened. We're not quite sure if it was sauerkraut or something else. But sauerkraut, in my reading, if you do not keep their food dry and it starts to grow mold, that can cause a fungal infection. And what I also learned is if you give them too much bread, sometimes we give them old pieces of bread to try to tease them into the run at night. And, I didn't realize that giving them bread could probably cause it. Did it cause it? We'll never know. But I think we're going to be more mindful about how much bread that we give them in the future. As a precaution, we did change their water yesterday, and we are going to be adding apple cider vinegar in the appropriate amounts just for the short term. Because if one chicken gets sauerkraut, I don't want anybody else to get it. And everybody else seems to be fine, but just a precautionary thing. So, down to 2. And that's kind of something you're going to have to accept if you want to own chickens, is that there's 1,000,001 ways for them to die. There's a lot of diseases. They're at the bottom of the food chain. So it's just kind of something you're going to have to come to accept. As much as you love your birds, and as much as they become pets, you will have to watch them die, unfortunately, as morbid as that sounds. But the kids are like, oh, that means we can get chicks in the spring, right? I'm not sure if I'm ready for the full-time job of chicks. They're very much a drop everything what you're doing to keep them warm, to keep them hydrated, to monitor them, make sure they're eating and drinking. It's more work and time than I have right now. So I'm thinking pullets in the spring. They're a lot less labor intensive, although there is some training and some work you kind of have to do with them. They're a little bit goofy. They're teenage chickens, basically. And maybe we'll get 2 or 3 of those, but it's going to really depend on how these 2 fare with the winter. On some fantastic memories that we had with Noodle along the way. Noodle, you will be missed.